But here's my home here. This is very close to the world spawn in this seed I'm playing, and you can see that cobblestone box over there. That is right about where the world spawn is. So I didn't venture far, and I built this property, if you will, on top of a hill with a very let's say sturdy structure, a pretty tall fence that blocks skeleton arrows, and a pretty sizable farm, because I'm doing a vegan playthrough, and that's a big part of what's special about this series. Is I'm not playing in the actual, hardcore mode where if you die the game is over, but I am challenging myself by doing a vegan playthrough, which is I will not be killing animals, and I will not be using animals to the best of my ability. So there are examples in this game where, like, you have to have leather or wool, right? If it's possible for me to acquire like a bed, for example, which is something you need animal products to craft, then I will either take it from a village, or like I'll trade with a villager in order to get those materials. Makes sense? I'm trying to avoid any animal cruelty or unnecessary animal slaughter, or animal slaughter at all in this playthrough, which does make the game a heck of a lot more difficult, because like farming cows and sheep and chickens in this game is a big part of the actual gameplay, and I will not be doing that. So it's essentially putting the game on hard mode difficulty. So if I call this series something along the lines of Minecraft hard mode, that is oops, I just broke this block. That is what I mean, because I'm playing a vegan playthrough, if you will. So some people will feel a certain kind of way about that. I figured it was an awesome, because it adds a new take to the game. It makes it more interesting, in my opinion. So I wanted to give that a try. Now, this seed, this base I made is pretty well established. I know where a couple villages are nearby, and starting out this series, I wanted to explore a new area and build a new base. Certainly outside the view distance of this one, but not too far away, because I plan on really systematically exploring this seed and really seeing how far you can adventure in this game and for how long. I may very well be adventuring in this same seed for like 30 years, because you can actually do that in Minecraft and it doesn't get old, because everything is procedurally generated. As you explore the world, new chunks are generated, and there's just so much to do. So I'll give you a quick tour of my home base, which will probably always be my home base. And if you guys are familiar with my original Minecraft series, maybe you remember where I left off, which was pretty much gathering books and materials to begin enchanting, which had just been added to the game in a patch while I had the series going. So to start with, I'll show you my stable. It didn't quite turn out the way I wanted it to. It looks kind of derpy with these logs disconnected that way. I'll probably reconstruct it later, but when you're playing in survival, it's not like creative where you can just fly around and spawn all the blocks you want. You actually have to farm everything, and you can't fly, so it makes things more difficult. So this is probably the biggest thing that was added to the game in terms of your survival ability since I last stopped playing, which is horses. So you can get a horse, you can add a saddle to the horse, and you can ride it, and it's quite a bit faster than the player. So it makes it a lot easier to explore long distances in the game, and it makes it more viable to move from one base to the other over the course of a day and not get swarmed by zombies while you're doing it. So right now I only have one horse. He's my only animal companion at this point in time. I'd like to get some dogs and cats soon. We'll see when that happens. So very self-explanatory, and I did make a point of constructing my base close to a naturally occurring pond for agriculture reasons. And so that is why I have these little half blocks here, which are over trenches full of water. And that allows me to keep my crops soil moist, which is essential for growing at maximum capacity or maximum speed in this game. So we have quite a big farm because we don't eat meat in this game. which is pretty overpowered, I would say, by default. You know, like cooked beef or pork or even chicken is very strong in this game in terms of recovering HP and, you know, satisfying your hunger. So if you restrict yourself to eating plants, it's actually putting yourself at a pretty big disadvantage. And that's one of the main reasons why I have such a large farm. The other reason is because I really like trading in this game. They added villages, and now you can trade crops with other farmers at nearby villages and level up your character that way, or acquire materials that you would normally have a difficult time finding in the open world. So pretty awesome. Plus, I love games like Harvest Moon or Stardew Valley, and that this really hits the spot. In fact, Minecraft is the only game I'm aware of that uses a light level system for agriculture. So in other words, the amount of light your crops receive, you can see here we have direct sunlight versus shade, and then you've also got some ambient light generated by these lanterns, which apparently generate UV. There's no difference between artificial and natural light in terms of nourishing your crops in this game, at least not yet. So like these beetroots that are exposed to the direct sunlight are getting more energy than the beetroots in the shade, and that is a mechanic that I haven't seen in games like Harvest Moon or Stardew Valley or other farming, even Farming Sim, which I've played farming simulator games as well, where you use heavy machinery and all that. None of those games I just listed actually have light level mechanics that I am aware of. So Minecraft, not even being a farming specific game, has pretty much the most, I would say, complex agriculture system in any video game I've played. I would like to see a heck of a lot more crops added though, because there's hardly any crops to choose from. Dang it. When you stomp on your field like that, you have to till the soil again. So don't do that. But yeah, I really like farming in this game. It is a heck of a lot of fun. And so if you're going to play a vegan hard mode version of survival, then you're definitely going to need a pretty sizable farm. I would recommend using a method similar to mine, but get creative with it. You can also grow indoors. You don't need direct sunlight. So that's probably the most impressive part of this base so far. We also have a 2-story castle, or really strong structure. I built it out of stone. All of this is legit. I actually fired cobblestone, and then I made these stone bricks. There's even some smooth stone out here on the foundations. That whiter block is a smooth stone. It's what happens when you fire regular stone. So some basic storage here. I share this home with my girlfriend, Sweet D, so that's why there's 2 beds, 2 armor stands, 2 nightstands, because this is actually a multiplayer world. Here's the second story where we have more crafting specializations, some more storage here. This is where I keep all my valuable stuff. This is pretty much where I left off in the Minecraft Interactive series. I already harvested these books. Sometimes you'll find like dead cows in the wilderness, or you'll just see leather laying around, so obviously I picked all that up. But most of these books I actually stole from a village because normally you have to slaughter cows in order to make books. I don't know why you need leather to build books in this game, but you do. So this is actually the hardest part to achieve playing as a vegan. So this was done off camera, but all of this was survival. I promise you, and I'll raise my hand and swear an oath that I did not use creative mode one time to build this base or this farm or anything that you see here. So this structure was designed to scale skyward. We can probably add 2 or 3 more stories here. Obviously you can go to the sky cap. I don't plan on making this space that big because it has pretty much everything I need. And also, I want to make a bunch of bases, so we don't actually need to have one mother base, so to speak. If we can have 7 bases of this size, that's plenty for me. And there's one more thing I want to show you. Oh, this is my garbage disposal. Pretty cool. Keeps the house warm. Is what I call the larder. And I prefer to say it with a Mandarin accent, larder. Down here. It's protected by gates. I don't expect any... What the heck was that? I don't expect any monsters to get in here, so I might add some doors later, but for now it's just kind of open concept. And it's just a basement really with tons of chests. I believe there is a more efficient way to stack these chests, but until I need more of them, I am not going to do that because, you know, a lot of these are empty as it is. I just wanted to have a place with more storage than I needed. And you can see this is where I keep all the food for the most part. There's more food than I would ever need. I've basically been surviving off of baked potatoes, ladies and gentlemen. There are more valuable food sources that I can eat. I don't actually know where my golden carrots are. I think they're upstairs, but when I'm fighting or I'm mining, you know, I basically eat baked potatoes. So what we're gonna do here is just prep up for a adventure. We're gonna go out ranging, if you will, and we're gonna look for a new site to build another base. That is what I would like to do in the first episode here today. Okay. Okay, ladies and gentlemen, I just wanted to do some quick farming there off camera and get ready for my adventure. You can take a look at my inventory, very self-explanatory, just some sticks, some iron for tools, some basic building materials, some buckets which I should probably fill up with water, but I'm sure there's water where I'm going, and then a workbench, a boat, very basic. Oh, of course, your shield. Never leave your home base without a shield because last time I was playing this game, shields were not introduced, and let me tell you, they have totally transformed the combat system in Minecraft. I love the addition of shields. Okay, so I have a location in mind where I want to set up another base. There have been so many biomes added to Minecraft recently, and I really haven't experienced that part of the game. So that's frankly the motivation for doing this series for me was I want to explore the new biomes on camera because I really haven't done that. So I have a general idea where the biome I'm looking for is. And let me just show you, whoops, didn't mean to dismount my horse. Let me just show you really quickly for reference sake, the biome that my home base is in is listed. It's called a Minecraft Savanna. So that's where we're at right now, is the Savanna. So it's, I'll be honest with you, I don't actually know the official definition of a savanna, but it's like intermediary between a desert and a forest here. So I think a savanna is a form of desert where vegetation grows most of the time. But I'm sure people will correct me about that, some biologists out there. Huh? But obviously we're in a desert right now. There are cacti growing and a bunch of sand. If we keep heading in this direction, you can see that I have a map, this is as large as you can get maps. I enhanced it 4 times on the cartography table, and this is as big as they get. I have explored maybe half of it, and so that's how I know generally where this new site is where I want to build. And I'm not going to spoil it and tell you why I chose this site. I want you to see it with your own eyes. So let's pop things into overdrive here, see if we can't leap this river. It's one thing they really got to improve is the swimming of horses in this game. I don't know if you're meant to be able to swim on horseback. It's pretty, I won't call it buggy, but I don't think it's working as intended. But the horse, when in sprint mode, is quite a bit faster than a player on foot. So that is a very nice addition. You can much more easily outrun mobs. You can certainly outrun zombies, skeletons, creepers, you know, the typical monsters in the overworld. I'm not sure if you can outrun endermen because they do teleport, but I'm pretty sure you can. Oh, there it is. This is the site I have chosen because this is the closest thing I've ever seen in Minecraft to a volcano. I have never seen a volcano in Minecraft before. I don't know if you guys would consider this a volcano. It is definitely a mountain with lava flowing down the side. So, I mean, I don't think there's going to be many people that disagree with me when I say this is an active volcano site. And that is really appealing to me. I've seen that before, and so what I'd like to do is build my second base here, and it's close enough to my home base where I could connect it via railroad without too much difficulty. minecart perhaps would be a better way of describing it. So I am actually pretty low on lumber, but that's okay because at my home base all I really have in the savannah is acacia. So it looks like we have a different species of wood here. So we'll use this and we'll harvest some of that right away. Sorry, the depth of field here when I'm riding the horse is a little awkward. But we'll harvest some wood here and we'll build a pen or a stable for our horse as our first mission here, because the horse has a tendency to run away. And you can see that the other reason I chose this site is because this volcano or mountain has what appears to be a pretty vast cave system in there. I don't want to abandon my horse and go explore it just this moment, but I'm hoping that there is a stronghold or a dungeon or something beneath this mountain, because there's a naturally occurring cave there which has got me excited. So let's pick a location to construct our base camp before nightfall, where hopefully our horse will behave and not get attacked. So temporarily I'm going to build him inside of a dirt construction just so he doesn't wander off. And I believe this needs to be 2 blocks tall. Come on. How long it takes to destroy that dirt block. Okay. It's actually quite difficult to build on horseback. I don't think he really meant to do it. But if I dismount him, he'll wander outside of this little box I'm building, so that's why I'm doing it this way. Alright, so he won't be able to leave anymore. I really wish you could tether the horse to a tree or something. I know there are leads in the game, so you can, you know, move them around, but the horses, at least the horse I tamed by happenstance, is quite disobedient. There's also a bug in the current build of the game where if you dismount the horse, sometimes he'll just disappear until you reload the game, which is really frustrating, especially when you're in the middle of combat. But yeah, you can always work around in Minecraft. It's one of the beautiful things about Minecraft is, you know, your creativity is really the limit of what you can do in this game. So if you want to build your horse a temporary dirt pen every time you dismount in the sandbox, then nothing's stopping you from doing that. So this appears to be mostly acacia, actually, which is fine. It's probably my favorite texture for wooden planks in the game. But you do want to have some diversity. Maybe this is some oak here. Yeah, oak log. So the last time I played Minecraft, there was only one type of tree, one type of wood, and it all looked the same. And nowadays, there's a handful of different species of tree, and they all have different textures. So if you build a house out of like 4 different types of trees unknowingly, then you're gonna have a pretty awkward looking multicolored house that does not look very uniform. And I'm pretty big on symmetry and uniformity in this game, so I typically want to build something out of the same species of tree. Okay, so this should be enough here. And the first thing we'll do is build some fence posts and upgrade our horse's situation so that he is not being contained in a dirt pen. So to do that, we're going to need a bunch of sticks, I believe. Just make sure. Don't actually memorize the fence recipe. That's what it looks like. Okay, so we'll build... What the... No, we want acacia. And then planks on each side. There we go. 48. Not bad. So the sun is going down. This is actually a pretty significant concern because this is survival mode. And I didn't load this chunk right away. I have ventured here before. So those of you who don't know how difficulty works in Minecraft, it's based on how much time you have spent in a chunk, which is like a zone as far as the eye can see for the most part, depending on your view distance, of course. And so the more time you spend in that area, the harder the mobs get. And I'm probably still at easy difficulty here, but it won't be that way for long. So the mobs will get progressively harder the longer I stay here. So that's your incentive to, you know, build a legitimate base which is creeper proof and all that before long. Okay, so for now we're just going to enclose our horse in a pen like this. You know, he's got plenty of grass, even some flowers there that he can eat. I don't know if horses eat flowers. And we'll put some torches so we don't lose track of him. And then I also brought a bunch of cobblestone myself for a structure. We don't need the map at this moment. And I think instead of building a temporary structure down here, I'll go ahead and get started expanding our initial base camp up the mountainside. Okay guys, I did a quick reconnaissance of the area and I couldn't find any cave entrances. So I think my plan right now is to just hollow out part of the mountain and then we'll build a ladder or an elevator in the center so we can easily get to the top. And to my knowledge, the mobs in the game, the enemies that spawn in the darkness, they won't attack my horse unless I'm riding him. So I'm fairly certain he's safe in this situation, but I'll keep a close eye on him in case, you know, he gets attacked. But for now I'm going to leave him in there and eventually we'll transfer him to the main base, which is going to be inside the mountain or volcano. That is assuming that there's not a magma chamber in there. Those that don't know what a magma chamber is, it's where the lava, actually magma is different from lava, but it's where all the lava will be originating from, that is pouring off the side of the mountain. And I'm thinking that this would be a pretty good place to just burrow in there and start hollowing it out and work with any lava that we find. So I moved our workbench very plainly up here. I think we can put it on top of the tree. Yes, we can. And one thing I want to build really quickly before we go in there is some ladders, because probably going to build vertically. And we'll also build, let's see, do we have enough wood? Yeah, we do. We'll build a chest and put it on top of this tree as well, just to store the materials that I don't need at this moment. Put some dirt in there. We'll save that flesh because I actually learned you can feed wolves flesh, and so I intend to tame some wolves. And as it happens, you can collect bones and flesh in the game just by defending yourself. So I don't have to go out and slaughter, you know, animals in order to tame a wolf. I can do it just by defending myself against skeletons and zombies. So that's a major win. All right, so maybe we'll connect this tree later to the main structure and call it a tree house, but for now we'll just use this as a starting off point to just go ahead and burrow in there. We'll probably make this, what would that be, a 3x2 tunnel to start with, and we'll probably broaden it a little bit later on. I don't think we need our shield at this moment. We're just gonna see what we find in here, and I'll probably end up fast forwarding this part of the playthrough when we're just doing, you know, very repetitive mining, because you guys have seen that before. This series is mostly about exploration and really just playing the game as it was meant to be played, but with a little twist to it. And of course, I mean, I'm all for creative mode as much as the next guy, but I just have a lot more fun in Minecraft when you're building things creatively, except you have a grasp of, you know, what it takes to build those things using the game's intended mechanics. In other words, you don't just happen upon like 400 quartz to build your home with. You know, when you're starting out, you actually have to harvest material to do that. So I'm going to be as creative as I can in this game whilst working within the confines of the survival rules, so to speak. Okay, so let's just go ahead and skip ahead a little bit and see what we find in the middle of this volcano. Oh, here we are. Okay, so we've successfully burrowed straight to the other side of the volcano, and I believe I ventured through about the center, so I have no clue how many blocks wide this volcano is. I'm gonna estimate, let's see, we're at 79. Putting my mental math skills to the test. Geez, that was about 60 blocks. So, yeah, my initial estimate was a little bit off, but I probably won't keep 2 entrances to the base. I'll probably stick with 1, but for now we can leave 2 and then we'll just seal it off later. But it's looking pretty good so far. There's nothing valuable really, just coal. But I'm gonna dig out in all 4 directions and see if I can't find the source of that lava, just so that I know where it is. So we'll do a little bit more mining here before we decide where we're going to actually construct the base. Okay, here, oh, okay, this is definitely a volcano with a tree growing in it, strangely enough. So if this were the real world, where I'm standing would be inconceivably hot. It would be uninhabitable for human beings. You'd have to have one of those suits on, you know, like what Spock wore in one of those recent Star Trek movies. But as I suspected, there is a very large, naturally occurring cave system. And this is for all intents and purposes where the magma chamber would be in an actual volcano. So let's just quickly explore down here, because we might actually want to build our base here at the base of the mountain. Let's just make some very crude dirt stairs. Try not to get hurt on the way down, because it's dark down here, and obviously anything can spawn in the darkness. Alrighty. Just making some very crude stairs. And this appears to be the base of the volcano. So, you know, we don't want anything spawning down here, obviously, because like a creeper could probably make its way up these little stairs I made and blow me up unexpectedly. So let's make sure that it's properly lit. And I think that should about do it. Let's put one more torch right up there. And another right there. These are my stairs. There we go. I could easily hollow this out and make it my base. I'm not sure how I feel about building in what is to be a magma chamber for all intents and purposes. So let's have a look around a bit more and see where the ideal location would be to build our volcano base. Okay. Oh, this is a bit dark here. We could also have creepers spawning here. So let's just light it up a little bit. Obviously, we're not going to light up the whole volcano at this moment. We're just doing some basic exploration. And here is our tunnel. Let's make another... Oh, crap. Just as I mentioned creepers, I don't want him detonating in here, because I like my tunnels clean. He just about blew up there. I'm not sure why he spawned, because it looks to me as if everything is bright enough to prevent that, but let's just put down a few more torches to be sure. Thankfully we have trees and coal here naturally, so we can make more torches if need be. We need some more... Oh, crud, I just made a bunch of buttons when I didn't mean to. That's alright. Store some of this stuff we don't need at this moment. And let's just make ourselves 2 more iron pickaxes so we can continue mining. And in case I get killed, let's also store our really valuable stuff here, including our map and our buckets, since we don't have any water on us. Okay, that looks good. So if I die and I can't recover my stuff, At least I know where that chest is. Okay, now let's dig in the other direction. Actually, I want to explore straight across here. So we'll make a makeshift cobblestone bridge here. And we'll pierce through the volcano in 4 different locations, map it out, and really decide the best location for our base. How's that? So we'll just go straight through this wall here. Same size tunnel. Oops, let's get some more light there. And we'll fast forward this part. Okay, there we go. We have made it through the other side of the tunnel. I don't know, it's probably about 60 blocks wide, both through your, what would that be, X and Z axis. And I'm probably about 70% up through the volcano. So I think this is a good elevation. Let's see really quickly. We're at a Y107. So we're 107 blocks above bedrock, I believe. I think that's how it works. I think Y0 is bedrock. It's not sea level. So it's a pretty safe place to build a base. You get great vantage points. I like it. And there we go. And this is right about where the lava is originating. I think it's probably just one source block right there that you're looking at. And I might be able to get through to it if I dig this way. But yeah, it's not as I was expecting. It's not a true volcano where that magma chamber will be full of magma. But it's still structurally a volcano, which is really cool aesthetically. And I think I'm probably just going to end up hollowing out the center of this mountain and calling it my volcano base. So right about here, this block is the only lava, I think, in the entire area. So that's interesting. We actually don't need a wall thicker than 1 block of stone to prevent creeper attacks, to my knowledge. So we can make this as spacious as possible. It's going to take a while to haul this out. But I really like this location. I didn't mention it already, but this biome that we're in is called the Shattered Savanna. So our home base is in a savanna. It's just not shattered. So maybe some of you Minecraft pros out there could educate me as to what the difference between a regular savanna is and a shattered savanna. But I think I probably prefer the Shattered Savanna, just generally speaking. And we're also right at the border. I don't have my map on me right now, but we're right at the border of a swamp biome, which is also a newer, I think it's actually one of the older biomes, but I've never built a base in a swamp. And there are certain mobs that only spawn in a swamp, namely the slimes, which I have yet to encounter in this playthrough, in this seed. And I want to get some of that slime because I want to build some contraptions that can only be built with slime. So that'll be an interesting adventure in a future episode. But we'll go ahead and we'll fast forward the rest of this hollowing out and kind of see what we're working with here in terms of our total volume for a volcano base. Okay, here we are, ladies and gentlemen. We've got the bare bones layout of what is turning out to be a pretty cool base. I'll probably end up filling in these exposed areas right now either with doorways or glass for windows because I'm a big fan of natural lighting. And I might keep a more panoramic window here. You got a pretty sweet view of the swamp biome over there. So maybe we can even see like slime spawning. I believe they only spawn at night. From here, little telescope feature, pretty cool. And I'll probably end up mining down here because it's a pretty sweet setup. And obviously we have this huge exposed hole in the top of the mountain. But I'll probably end up building a ladder system to get up through there. I don't think I do have 24 ladders, so we can do that right now. And just get a viewpoint of the entire surrounding area from the highest point. Let's see. if we just go a bit deeper this way. There. And then put down some ladders. Just climb up to the top here. Man, there's a lot of coal in this mountain. I don't think we're going to have quite enough ladders to make it to the top. Let's just stick with that for now. Okay, and I was actually trying to scale this mountain on foot, you know, walking up the side of the mountain. And it was quite difficult, so I don't think that, you know, creepers or zombies or skeletons are going to be able to climb this mountain. So it's naturally very defensible. As long as it's lit up here and they don't spawn on top. Should be a pretty awesome setup. And I don't have enough ladders to get up there. But maybe we'll start the next episode of our playthrough atop the highest point of our new volcano base. So I'm going to go ahead and claim this entire base, this entire mountain as my base. And you can see that our horse is doing just fine down there, munching on some grass. We'll give him a bigger pen very soon. But I want to thank you guys for watching. Make sure to leave your suggestions for new ideas in future episodes in the comments section. Keep it real out there. Hopefully you enjoy your time in Minecraft as the game is being updated. Hopefully you've enjoyed watching the series and have a great time out there, guys. Bye-bye.